and the time is that much. Now once again, it's not quite 7 PM yet, but I will take it. So how's everyone? Hello. Is the music levels and everything like that okay? I didn't have much time to do sound checking this time because I was busy reinstalling the cooling system in my computer, because the cooler that I was using since 8 months ago, it broke. It doesn't cool that well anymore, so I had to install something else. And this time the music, by the way, is not from Mod Archive. The music is somewhere else. The information is in the video description, so you can look up there. It's from Nostalgia. Nostalgia is what they call themselves. It's just one Japanese guy who has composed this all. So let's see, can I actually focus? Okay. Hello everyone. Turns out I was just speaking to myself for 2 minutes because I misclicked when I changed the scene in the stream, so I was just talking to myself. So how is everyone doing today? The music is not, by the way, from the Mod Archive this time. I changed it a little bit, so the information where it is from is in the video description. You did hear me. Wow. Okay, maybe I clicked something else then. Okay. Well, I don't know what happened there, but anyway. It sounds like everything is working right. So I guess you heard me then, but you didn't see my screen or something? I have to check that later, what exactly happened there. That was so confusing. Not at all, Ephraim. So anyway, Terminal Emulator. Let's see about this to-do. What things I have missing here. I was saying today I'm going to do maybe the keyboard input thing, because my Terminal Emulator does not do keyboard input yet. It just doesn't. It actually reads from std-in, which is the terminal from which it is running, if it is available. It can do that. And also I should probably do screen resizing, and I will probably do that first, because right now when I run this terminal it is kinda inconvenient how tiny and minuscule this window is. So for the purpose of better presentation I should probably do a screen resizing first, so that I can make this a little bit bigger. And then support for the style renderings, italic, bold, underline and so on, because they are currently just stubs in the rendering engine. Like, yeah, where was it? Over here, yeah. These are still just to do, so it doesn't do any of those formatting tricks yet. And maybe also add some other rendering styles which I didn't consider when I made stream number 1. Then there's character sets, doing those probably, because... Hold on, let me show what I mean. Even in an 8-bit terminal, hold on, this is not actually 8-bit because this is Unicode terminal. Well, it doesn't really matter. Even in that there's like 2 character pages. There's this where you have normal ASCII characters, and then there's also one where you have all these line drawing characters, which some terminal programs utilize. So I should probably add support for those at some point, but that is probably not this stream. Actually, that was this point here. Do character sets properly. That is also one point, because right now I can type all kinds of characters here. Hold on, what are good examples? Yeah. Well, those are not ASCII characters, so I can do those, but in my terminal I cannot do those because right now it pretends to support DOS core code pages, but it doesn't even do those properly. So those are going to be on the to-do list. So maybe that screen resizing will be the first thing that I said before. You are absolutely right. The console is a bit off screen. Let's try that again. That is because my desktop is aspect ratio is 16:9, but the stream aspect ratio is 18:9. And this time, instead of adding something extra on the right side, I decided to do it other way and just clip out this bottom part. So you didn't obviously see these little characters here. Yeah. Not that it really matters that much, but it is good that we found it now. I totally forgot about that part. The animated wallpaper is just a media player rendering on a window which is set full screen and some other flags. In the first stream I made the animated wallpaper by doing green screen processing for the entire desktop in my streaming program which is OBS, but this time I'm doing it other way. This is a cleaner solution. The fonts are bitmaps because, well, maybe I like them better. So resizing. So this is probably fine. I don't need to touch this part. This can render pixel by pixel and that is totally fine. But where I need to touch is this main module here where I deal with these textures and renderings. The resizing can happen entirely in the SDL. And I probably do already have some other projects where I do the resizing properly, if I can remember where it was. Hold on. Does that editor do it right? Let me check. You didn't see anything. So there. Can I resize this window? Yes, I can. And that works perfectly. And of course that part is off screen right now, so that works right, so I can actually reuse the source code that I wrote in this project. And welcome everyone who is here first time, and also welcome to everyone who is not here the first time. Yeah, rendering. Main should be here. Wait, it's not in main, it should be in VGA. Which is kinda messy code because this in that editor is designed originally for MS-DOS, and then I added DJGPP support. Did I say that right? DJGPP support. And then I also added Linux support, so it's kind of messy. Because it was originally, the architecture is still the 16-bit DOS program for Borland C++. Resizing by scaling, yeah. It's going to be resizing by scaling. The commands to change the number of rows and columns on the screen are going to be different. That is not probably going to be happening by mouse cursor. Hello Noja, the PC that I have is described in one of my past videos on my channel. Go check there if you are interested. Pixel buffer, SDL reinitialization. So there's, in my that editor, there's all these different variables for width and pixel sizes and number of cells and buffers and textures. And I need to understand again what was going on here. the keyboard, assuming that you can actually see anything, because this happens to be the same color as the wall behind me, so you can't really much see here anything. Okay, now you can, because it's of different shades. That is my keyboard. Hope that helps. Yeah, SDL redraw. SDL redraw. Where do I use this? I use it in a timer routine. Why does DJGPP produce so bloated exe files? Well, that is easy to explain, and that is because DOS does not support shared libraries. Operating systems like Windows and Linux do support shared libraries, but DOS does not support them, so the exe file has to include everything that it needs. It cannot borrow them at runtime from a shared library. Well, Ephraim, that spelling is actually quite normal for certain variants of Orthodox Jewish spellings of Hebrew names and Hebrew words, like Shabbos and so on, so I wouldn't say it's a mistake. It's a romanization difference. So rendering is here. These parts I don't need. I need... Yeah, this is a huge routine. And some of those parts that I did there are also already done here, but I can skip most of that, I think. Render add line. Maybe I should just copy these verbatim and sort them out in this program. And then Terminal Emulator. What do I think about Delphi and Pascal? Actually, I was a Borland Pascal programmer for much longer time. Well, not much longer time. A long time before I was a C++ programmer. So I have a pretty good history with Pascal programming. But when Pascal programming switched away from DOS to Windows platforms, that was kind of when I dropped out of those sleds, and I don't really follow Delphi and don't really actually know much that is different in Delphi than in that old DOS-based Borland Pascal. But I did like Borland Pascal, although it was kind of stiff. Now in retrospect especially, it was really stiff, but I did like it at that time. So now that I do actually have this source code in my Git repository, I can probably just erase all of this and just replace. Actually, those parts I already do have there. Is this inside a class? No, it's not inside. It's inside a namespace, and also that is inside namespace. So that works out just fine for me. Pixbuff. Yeah. Don't need those. What is this reduce used for? Huh. Let's keep that. I will add these just in case. When I say that the programming language is stiff, I mean that well, that is actually kind of hard to describe. Well, I mean things like in C++ you can do this. Int k equals the letter A. You can do this, and it's implicitly casted that, and it does exactly the same as if you did this. But in Pascal you cannot do this because these are different types. I guess strong typing is what you are looking for there, but I'm not a scientist, so I don't know the right terms. That is kind of one thing. It is a thing that manifests in many kind of situations. I just copy these routines verbatim and think of them case by case, line by line. And keep those. And this is not a editor, it's terminal. Although in the previous version I used the title editor. Yeah, well, I can use that. Pix buff, resize, cursor old, don't need that, don't need that. Force. You watch my, let me just say that verbatim. I watch your videos where you use SFML, and now you are using SDL. Which library is better in your opinion? They kind of do different things. I find that SFML is better designed, but SDL supports more things. You can do more things in SDL than you can do in SFML, so they are kind of different. And actually, in stream number 1, I actually asked you people which one should I use, and you all pretty much voted SDL2, so that's what I am doing here. Force. Let's remove that. Get window size. Can keep all of that as it is. Render at line. Cursor now, don't need those. Although this Mario timer is probably something I will need later. And these threads didn't work out for me very nicely last time, so I don't need that. Cells. Render at line. Where do I actually render it here? This is the source where it reads from, and then I'm comparing there to just to make sure that I'm not doing extra work, so I can also skip that. Same. Let's skip that. Cursor position. Don't need that because I already did that. Implicit casting between integer types is actually a big flaw in C/C++, since often the cast won't go the way you expect, and you'll get the wrong results. I don't really agree with you there. That's a matter of experience, I would say. So I think I can ignore most of those except this part. So where is this draw? Draw is over here. The draw thing is done differently now in render. Oh, I'm still in the wrong working directory, so let me fix that. Main and rendering / render screen. So this function will be called here, and it will replace most, if not everything. Pixel height. Render at line. Yeah, it will just replace that part entirely. So window.render. No, it's not window, it's screen, I believe. Is it? No, it's this kind of thing. And then the font size. Errors. Don't need that. Graham, you don't have a clue what's happening. Well, it's in the video description. I'm doing a Terminal Emulator. Why not write in any IDE? Why would I? So render. Font size was that. Actually, in that code that I just deleted, VGA, did I do resizing here? A double size font? No, I don't think I did. Shippo. Kobuta no Shippo. Who is Kobuta? That terminal. Yeah, someone asked me in the previous stream whether I am going to name this as that terminal. I might. I might. Render flashlights. Just for the sake of simplicity, I will do that for the entire screen. Sales world. Which cell height is this? Do I have it right? Yes, I do. Which cell height? Do you also have a width? Cells double wide. Oh, that is a more stiff design than I thought. Frivle? No, I don't think so. Timpa? Yes, I think Python is a good choice. Cells 9 pixels wide. I have to think how to do that. Thank you very much, Klaus. Render add lineup, so that should at least work. STL redraw. I can probably delete all that stuff now. And instead of init graphics function, I can do something else now. STL reinitialize. Cells 9 pixels wide. No. Does it compile? No, it doesn't. That was kinda expected. Also, these colors are kinda different than I saw the last time. Which version do I have? So many colors. I don't think it had this many colors the last time I tried this. What made you settle on Joe as your editor? Well, basically it was WordStar compatible, and the previous editor, like Borland Pascal IDE, was also WordStar compatible, so the keyboard inputs were quite familiar to me already, so that's why I chose Joe at that time. That is the biggest reason. Texture width is defined twice. Oh yes. Now there are not so many errors anymore. Width cell height. Where is that to be defined? Just for until I think of something better, let's put it here. That is not defined. Where is it defined? It's defined here. Cells. That doesn't look right. And you probably also cannot see this very well. But can I resize the window? I can, except it just doesn't do anything useful. Foiled. Let's try again. At least I probably don't need this part anymore. So I have to think, what did I do wrong here? Oh yes, because I chose a different kind of a color format for this window. So it should have been something like that, I believe. Yeah. So at least the colors are now right, but it doesn't scale. I may need to handle events there, so that may be the issue. Event. Events are handled in keyboard handler. So I need these events. Event handlers. Oh yeah, I don't actually have an event handler here yet. How should I do that in a thread-safe manner? I have to think about that a little. Well, maybe I just have this loop here where I sleep like this 30 milliseconds, and after 30 milliseconds I just check for SDL events and act accordingly. So I guess we are already beginning to transition into the keyboard input handling section. No, I don't do driving as a job anymore. This just in. Shocking news. When videos are made on YouTube, they may not necessarily reflect the present situation, especially if they are made 3 years ago or 4 years ago. Things do change, you know. SDL key down, so that is where I have to concentrate on some point, and that will be hairy. That will be lots of work. Pending input. Sphere marching. No, I have not. He now owns the entire busing company. As if. VGA redraw. So I may need to do the reinitialization again. me see what happens if I just copy paste this function call here. This is still not done. No, no, no. Still window event. Huh. Also, I don't like the scope pollution here, so I will shorten that bit a little. But why did it spam that event? We need to do that. When can we expect some folk dance videos / tutorials? I don't know actually. It's pretty likely that the answer is never, and that the reason is not that I don't want to make them. The reason is that music industry is a copyright minefield. So when you make folk dance videos, you have to play music there, and when you play music there, there's a chance that some media mega conglomerate strikes your channel. So that's not an attractive prospect. So I'll remove that printing for a little while. And check what is happening with the window event. So window event 6 is getting spammed there. Window event 6. Window event 6. Which is okay, so it's in SDL video. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Size changed. Why? I do actually check the return value of the poll event. That's happening in this part. Because this is the condition part for the for loop. If this function returns 0 or false, this for loop doesn't get run at all. So why does it regenerate that event all the time? Or should I maybe ignore that if the window size is the same as the last time? Let me ignore that part and see what happens then. Yeah, it didn't get triggered anymore. So did it actually, by the way, do that resizing without? It actually does. Well, that is interesting. It just suddenly began working. Things sometimes happen like that, I guess. Alright. So I didn't actually need to do this. I just needed to handle the events for some reason. So what's next? let me think for a while. I can now delete this part, which is no longer needed, and I should probably also add the window dimensions somewhere before I forget. Yeah, Cookie, that is actually what I was thinking also. This call here, which is triggered by this, what used to be here, and that's why I was thinking along the lines of checking whether the size has actually changed or not. But looks like it wasn't actually needed at all. Switch is not very useful since it's empty. Well, I'm not sure. Hold on. The thing is that now this redraw function redraws everything all the time. But in case I add some caching there, so that it only draws those parts that have changed, then when one of these events is called, I should ignore that caching there and just redraw everything, because it's probably no longer valid. The cache is no longer valid. So I will keep these because it will be needed later. But right now the caching is not there, so it's kind of pointless looking, but that will be needed later, I believe. I can also keep probably that. So the window size thing, I was putting those in variables so that I don't need to scatter these constants everywhere. And actually I should probably do in here, reading them from these variables. Yeah. And this drawing here uses these variables. So before I forget, window. Probably these can be constants, but I will think about that later. Why you are not finding those functions because these functions are mine. I defined SDR reinitialize here, and I defined redraw here. So that's why you cannot find them in the manual, because they are my functions. See if 9-pixel font also works. Actually, it probably doesn't work because I only look for 8-pixel fonts here. I should probably just ignore the possibility of 9-pixel font here. 9-pixel with wide fonts. It is anyway a hack of the no, not CGA, not EGA, of VGA display cards. Double wide. That I will probably need. So width cell height and width cell width. And also change these two variables, change the order to match what is below here. And that is good. Is it smart to use the STL suffix or prefix for your defined functions? Doesn't it get confusing? Something to consider. You are maybe right. With yeah, I was looking for this one. double tall. What did I use that for? Nothing. So I would need that. Remove that. And because I made the choice to not support these, I will just make this compile time constant. So only remains this one, double wide. And why should I also have that variable? Because it's amazing what you can find when you think about simplifying your code. 9 pics. Where are those even used? Double pics. 9 pics. Yeah, that should be fine. Now let me try a bigger font. So I should have their double size font somewhere. So let's see how that works. Okay. That's not quite right. Let's ignore that. Try something else anyway. So 19 pixel font. 19 pixel font. If it actually compiled, I didn't actually check whether it compiles. Yes, it did compile. So that works. And 8 pixel font should also compile. So these are just some sanity checks. Oh yes. It looks promising. So, screen resizing is done. Keyboard input. Actually, maybe now would be a good time to commit this part. That's done. So next is going to be keyboard input, because that is something that I kind of promised, and that is going to be hairy. How will I do that? I will have to read about that code in my that editor for a little while. This is hairy. Let me take a smaller terminal. The terminal icon should be somewhere behind here, somewhere here, here. There we go. So the directory is that one. This is going to be a little bit smaller font, but unless you are watching this in the 360p, you should still be able to read this. It's just not as convenient as it was before. So as you can see, there's a lot to do here. And these alphabets probably could be handled in a nice way using some kind of macros. But all the arrow keys and shift arrow keys and all that stuff is going to be really hairy, because I have to convert them into escape sequences for the terminal. Yeah, Git is great. Since you are using X11, you could have your video player draw to the root window, then it will act as your wallpaper. That is actually not really true. In case of Cinnamon, it is not true, because in Cinnamon, let me show you. now the background is gone. And if I change my desktop background image for a little while, wallpaper, or let me put like this one for my background window, background image for a little while, and then I kill my desktop application which gives me all these icons here. Nemo, kill that. So there we go. So I still have this background image here, and if I try to show some picture in my root window, let's say pick one at random here, like that one, in my root window, absolutely nothing happens. And also this is really tiny font for you. I just thought about that. Well, this is a little bit bigger. If I try to show this in the root window, nothing happens. I'm going to sneeze, sorry. So absolutely nothing happens if I try to render something into the root window, so that kind of doesn't actually work. So that's why I'm doing something different. And also I had to set my desktop blank background image as a black screen, because otherwise these get rendered together, so I have to also do that. So it was in pictures and it was a black. Hold on, I have to see about that. Black should be over there. Now I can do this again. Yes. And we are back where I was. Excuse me. My nose likes to play tricks on me sometimes. I am not using Fedora. So because of all the combination of Shift and Alt and Control and so on, this is going to be hairy, so I'm still thinking what is the best way to do this. This got keyed out. Oh yeah, it did. I don't have a green screen, I don't have a magenta screen, I have a white screen. Although it's not perfect, so that's why you see this shadow here sometimes, or actually all times. The player is in the top right corner. Yes, it is. It's kind of dim there, but because it's not that important. Yeah, good luck, Yanni, trying to tell everyone how to pronounce that word. I'm not going to help you. So input. I'm wondering whether for the input, whether I can use the input events in SDL key up and key down are bad because you don't get any kind of help for locally. So if you want English keyboard layout, if you want Finnish keyboard layout, if you want German keyboard layout, you can do that by hard-coding them, but good luck getting everyone else to use your program, because it's going to be hard-coded. Because those keyboard symbols that you get in the key up and key down events don't have anything to do with your keyboard layout. They are just physical keys which tell you which button on the keyboard was pressed, not what is the symbol on the keyboard. That's the problem. Why don't you buy a green screen? I actually did buy a green screen, and there is one in my studio. This is not my studio, this is my bedroom. And I don't have anything here to hang it with, so that's why I'm not using the green screen. it is difficult to hang those. So basically, for the local support, it would have to be in terms of IPA, yeah. For the local support, it would have to be the input events, but I'm not actually sure how those work. I may need to refresh a little bit about that. So, 2 walls. Here's one project where I did use those. So I have to check that again. Any plans for thermocap support? I don't need to. So this thing here, which you may have seen in some previous video of mine, although I didn't particularly advertise it. This is one of my 3D engine projects, and I do actually have input events here, so you can actually type something here and it actually does obey the local settings. Although I wonder what happens if you try to hello, did I actually crash it? It's no longer reacting to those, and I cannot click that. I have to open that again. Because I'm interested what happens if I press like the home key or something like that here. Okay, now it's focused on the right place. If I press home and how did I handle this? I cannot honestly remember. Key code, maybe of assistance. Probably not. Yes, this is still the terminal project. I'm just looking at another project where I did use the input, did do the input handling in a way that could be helpful here. So I did actually use key down and key up events there, but I also used text input events there, and also text editing events there. That's maybe a little bit hairy. I have to see how to do that. Text input, how did I enable that part? SDL enable stop text input, why? Stop text input, text input. Start text input. Oh. Let me see. If I take this text input here, put it in the beginning, well, SDL also does have event-based keyboard input system. So anyway, SDL text input. If text input. And he uses SDL string. That is quite convenient. If text. What is the type of that? I think it's probably a character array, so I have to look that. Text. No, it's key code. No, it's in events. Text. So it's a character array. Star cursor of selected editing text. Window with keyboard focus, if any. Keyboard focus. That may be a problem. What do you think? So out buffer. Those no. These parts are there. cti.send. Probably like that. I want to see what happens when I do that. Oh dear, the font is bad. Main and 16. And I could probably also do some initial scaling for this window. This sounds interesting, this song, so I'm going to amplify my volume here. Stinking black knee rose. So, scaling. What happens if I do just this? Nothing good happens if I do that. I'm thinking where I have to do things if I... probably here. If I want to scale the window automatically in the start. So... typing works. Typing actually works. Only character input, but... that's a start. That didn't take much work at all. Control M. I don't think that will work. Control M. No, control anything doesn't work. Are your voice moving to the right earbud? Well, I do have this microphone in stereo mode, so now I should be coming from your other side. Yeah, it's a 1440p video, yes. So that is done. So now I can concentrate on... oh dear, but if I want to support control letters, A, B, C, D, E, F, A, B, yeah, that might still work. Have to think about that. Have gone or are planning to go voting? Yes, please do. Can you share the source code of this? Yes, I will probably share the source code when it's at some sufficient point. So the other window where I actually did this is text input active and text editor. Oh yeah, I had the different handling of keyboard input, whether text is being inputted or whether it's controlling the 3D view. So Gunpoint, what kind of programming compatibility do you have in mind? Please do not speak Russian here. If you do, you are going to exclude everyone who doesn't speak Russian, so please don't do that. How do you handle things like control Control What should it actually do? In here it seems to do things like what you get from a USA keyboard, which is kinda odd. But I didn't think about that. Do you know JavaScript or Python? Yes, I do. Is there a key? Oh, I used ranged things there. Yes, we have in Finnish keyboards because happens to be a Finnish letter. If you want to know more about Finnish language and which kind of letters do we have, then check out Biscuit's YouTube channel and the Finnish introduction to Finnish phonology. Check out this video and you will learn lots. So there's lots of keys that I need to take care here. I should probably make some kind of map of keys that are currently being pressed down, as I have done in so many other projects. So STL map. And the code type is just an integer, so like that. Keys. Yes, that is absolutely true, Michael Compton. So that updates the key status, and then in any case I will also need to check these. Do you plan a project before writing code? It looks like you are writing that code automatically. I do think a lot more than I do say, but I do kind of make plans as I go. I do not need to implement things like auto-completion like in your terminal, because I am not writing a shell, I'm writing a terminal. Those are two different things. I'm not writing a shell. Unordered map. You're absolutely right there. Although it doesn't matter in this case at all. You actually need this header. Let me check. Unordered map. Yes, I do need to include. Why don't you use a text editor like Atom, Visual Studio Code or Sublime? Why would I? Keys. Alt. Don't need those. Left and right I will need. Let's begin with the right. These arrow keys. Left, right, up and down. And home and in. And page up and page down. Let me check whether I spelled those right. Yes, I did. So, depending on the modifiers, I should send different keys. And that's going to be here. Is there anywhere a list where I could look these up? My terminal is not a shell, it is just a terminal, so it doesn't calculate any expressions. It doesn't do anything except it displays things that programs tell it to display, and it sends to those programs what you press on the keyboard. Machi no Panya-san. So where should I actually look up what kind of escape sequences do these keys send? In that terminal that I did in DOS term key map, I actually borrowed code from Linux. These are function keys. Function table. Are these all function keys? I don't think they are. Although I should turn this microphone back. Going with the X-term escapes will be easiest. Yeah, I should just look up those. CSI sequences for arrow keys. Yes, that is probably easiest for those cases, but that just only covers exactly 4 keys. That only covers up, down, and left and right, nothing more. Probably not even home and end. Where is it used? Func table. So I have to check where it is used. Okay, that is not going to be very helpful. It was helpful in DOS because DOS uses the same input things that Linux kernel also uses, but it's not helpful here. And these are what I used actually in this. I don't even know what those are. I think those are probably... Yeah, those are number pad keys. Huh. Yeah, Terry Davis had a sickness. I could do those, but I don't really want to do so many lines of just data here. I would like to do... Yes, you can put cases in a loop. I would like to do this in a clever way, not in a way that is 500 pages of data or 500 pages of ifs. I could maybe do a table where you have a row for the key that is being pressed, and then columns for all the combination of control keys and shift keys and alt keys and their combinations, but I still don't like that idea. But just to get this show running, I should just add a dummy thing. String sender. This is going to be D, and this is going to be I don't remember that one, so I will just like that. Page up and page down, and that was already right. So just to make sure that it will work, I will just do that for testing. Enter. Yes. Up down works, except I should only do these on SDL key downs. That looks much better, although the formatting looks kinda odd. Those escapes are not being processed right. Can I run my Joe editor inside this window? Yes, I can, but I don't know why that happens. What is the width here? This is like 8, 9, 12, 16, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. So I have probably got the width and height confused there. Width and height. They must be wrong. Fork PTY. Oh yes, these are wrong way around. I wonder why nobody told me this. You guys are not paying attention to this code. There's so many bugs here and nobody tells me anything. So let's try that again. So now if I press up, oh yes, that seems to be working exactly as it's supposed to. So how about this editor? Backspace doesn't work. I should probably add backspace. So that would be like so. So now I should have a backspace. Oh yes, this is Joe running in my terminal. Although, well, not exactly perfect. I don't know why that is. Page down and page up works. Home and end. Well, at least end works. home? Why does home not work? I don't know. Home didn't work because really? What was that then? That was insert, okay. End, insert and delete. So insert and delete are going to be that's insert and that's delete. What is 4? These are 2, 3 and Kolja, I am going to block you now because you keep repeat. No. I click wrong things. Yeah. Thank you, Ian McKay. It's kind of difficult sometimes to do moderation, yeah. Thank you, Balaz Batari. And you, yes, you are Hungarian, so you do also have Are you gonna make listener for tab? What is that? So, insert delete, those work also. But should I also have... What happens if I do shift home? Shift home produces that kind of thing. Shift end produces that kind of thing. So Control Shift home produces that kind of thing. Okay. And Alt home produces that kind of thing, and Alt Shift produces that. That is so confusing. Yeah, why? I should really get some trusted people to moderate. If I knew how. Oh. That is always the problem. Yes, that is exactly right, Wilkman. Is what Finnish people say for Freefly, you also do have that L letter with a slash, which is actually not pronounced like L at all, which is pronounced like W, but yeah. Why I actually do have at least some of the Discord server staff as moderators here. They just don't happen to be watching right now, I think. So how does this actually work? Let me make a little chart here. So left. And there's actually shift, so Alt left and Alt Control left and Alt Shift left and Alt Control Shift left. So that's that. And that's that, and that's that, and that's that, that's that, that. No. That, and that's something else. What is the logic here? I don't understand this. How are those numbers decided? thank you, Balas, and thank you, Auriel. How many times did you write code for bare metal? Sometimes. Those come from term info. You may be right there. If only I knew how to handle that. Term cap. If only I knew anything about that. But anyway, if the logic is like that, then that will probably make some things easier at least. Let me check if the F keys work the same principle. Let's try, like, instead of left, let's try F1. Let's see what happens there. Okay. Shift and that. So that's 0, I presume. No, that's all. That's actually all letter. So this should be Alt F1 should be 3D. It's not. Control F1. It should be 5 there. Yes. So I think I see the pattern here, although this was quite a surprise. What actually happened there? F1. Why does it produce that O letter there? It already makes for these 4 F keys. F1, F2, F3 and F4. All of those it produces the O letter there for some reason. I don't understand. Yes, I see, it produces those. Yeah, the O replaces kind of the bracket letter there. And I don't understand why. Yeah, my window manager is eating some of these, so yeah. So what happens with insert? Because that one has a number here, so that kind of interests me. So I'm making a prediction. Control insert, assuming it gets through, should be like ESC and and in here it should be control. Actually, I don't know. That doesn't seem right to me. Well, time to test. Control insert. Really? Okay, so the number. Okay. That's interesting. Letter and number. Yeah, I think I'm starting to get the big picture here, so left is going to be if I create this map, I can probably use this to construct all the keys that I need. Unless the ones that create those escape sequences. And insert, delete, page up. If you don't know something, just Google it. That kind of requires that you know what to look for exactly and how to phrase your questions and that sort of stuff. Insert, delete, and page up and the page down of 5 and 6. Yeah, it does sound like a Vocaloid. So F5 was 15 and it followed until... There's a discontinuity between F10 and F9, F11. No, there's something still. Discontinuity somewhere. 5, 9, no. There's another discontinuity here. I see. Hold on. Yes. That's there. Keyboard controlling. So if you find this symbol in the map, then we can use the information in there to construct the escape sequence. So do we need the modifier? Yes, we do. So I'm still confused about the logic of this. So that's basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I guess this is 7. So it's just plus 1 there. So delta and if keys shift delta is added 1, and if there's alt being pressed, then delta is added 2, and if control is being pressed, is it control or control? It's control. Control added 4. Over 25 years actually. So that is delta. Now else we have to deal with the switch case, but yeah. What are the other keys that I need to deal with here? Probably also these numpad keys. Not sure. Yeah, don't know. Think about that later. This programming language is C++. If lore number is 1, then it is processed one way, otherwise it's processed differently. And let's make a special case here. If the second is in this range, then the bracket is replaced with the O letter. The curly braces, please. They are there. Oh, you want them here? Well, you shall have them. There you have curly braces. So number. And should I use sprint? Maybe. And the letter, yes. First the bracket and then the letter. And otherwise, it's going to be number slash number. Number slash. Like that. I think that is what I'm going to need there. Yeah, the music is kinda calming, and also the window where the music is supposed to be is missing. Oh yes, because for some reason it was in a wrong desktop, and now I totally lost the window. Where did it go? Where did the window go? There we go. Now I lost the other window. Can I switch to desktop number 10 somehow? Do I need to take another window there in order to get there? Let's try that. Yes. Yes, there we go. I got it back. And this is for the tilde characters. Bracket. And that number. That works. I think that is right. And I can probably optimize this a little bit. Like that. I like shorter code. Will this terminal emulator send bell signals? Maybe. I haven't actually thought about that yet. I like shorter code, so I will do that. Alright, now all these keys should have been handled properly. Did I miss something? Let me check. Up, down, pause. Pause could be handled. It's not a priority. There's so many keys here that I don't have on my keyboard, which I probably should handle somehow. So many different keys. And also, just for the sake of making this a little bit more compact, let me do this. 3. There we go. So it's a little bit more compact now. Switch. Don't need that anymore, I believe. So now I need to deal with alphabetic keys and that sort of stuff, like Alt A. Really, does the input handling not do that? Otsgur Ozon. You can actually download the music for free if you follow the link in the video description. Lord, it should be actually this. No. First. And this is not handled if key sim. Those are there. Let's do tab also. Tab. There's mismatching brackets. Oh yes, there is. Maybe this was what someone was trying to tell me earlier, and I missed that. Sorry about that. When you don't say complete sentences, I do miss your intention. So, let's see what happens now if I press arrow keys. Absolutely nothing happens. What went wrong? Let me see. Cat. Up, down, left, right. Absolutely nothing happens. Because I just printed to the buffer, but I never sent it. There we go. Cat V. What does V do? Show no printed. Oh, I see. Never do that. So anyway, those seem to be working. Let me see the editor. Home and Shift home and yes. So shift arrows does not work. Control arrows does work. So I probably confused those. Let me check that again. So shift left, alt left, and control left. So that should actually be right. And that actually was right, because in Joe you use control arrows to mark and not shift arrows. I totally forgot about that. Names of played musics can be found in this window on the top here. So those keys work now. How about then Shift Enter, Control Enter, and that sort of things. Shift Enter. That wasn't really helpful. Control Enter. That wasn't helpful either. Alt Enter. Neither was that. Control Backspace. Well, that works at least. Shift Backspace. Did I actually... What actually happened there when I pressed Backspace? Backspace. Control Backspace. Yeah, so Backspace actually does what it is supposed to do. But what I was also going to do was to check whether those accented characters work right. For example, if I type here right Alt A, I think that is right. I think that is correct. Yeah, I think those are correct. It's just my character set that is wonky here, but other than that, everything should be right. So tab, of course, Shift tab. Okay, Control tab. Well, that was surprising. Shift tab. So Shift Control Shift Control tab. Not Shift tab. Alt Control tab. Should have guessed. So right Control and tab, and right Shift and tab. Okay, so right and left doesn't make a difference here. The latency is only 7 seconds now. Yeah, it should be lower now because I selected low latency this time. So tab. And then of course I also need to do the input for the control alphabetic keys. Is it possible to run your idle MIDI player on Mac? Let me know if you manage to compile it for it. I don't know. I'm not a Mac user. Backspace. So where did I get actually that so backspace, control backspace. I could probably also add these in for easy access here. These, so it's easier to compare them many times. And of course I just do this for convenience's sake. Makes code shorter. So if there's a shift pressed, shift backspace. Let me just verify it once more. No, it was control backspace. So that should be Control H. And then for tab, there was this Control tab. I think no, Shift tab, Alt tab, no, Control tab, Control, no, Shift tab. This weird exception. There we go, show key. I don't think I have that program. Interesting. I never knew about that. Thanks for telling me. How much RAM that live wallpaper is exhausting? Let's see. It seems to be using 200 megabytes. Not a problem. The Terminal Emulator that this window is presented in is Xterm. So return. Do I always get return key like that? Control Shift Alt. Yeah, it doesn't get modified in any way. So next I have to think about what to do with those alphabetic keys. Maybe like this. Like this, probably. Let's try that. Okay, that's wrong. SDLK A. Should it be lowercase? Oh yes, oh yes. Is there some specific purpose you are writing this emulator using SDL? Well, there's no specific purpose why I'm writing it with SDL. Control, oh dear. Let's try that again. So, end home using control keys. So Control B, Control F, yes, that's working right. Control N, Control P, Control V, oops, Control V and Control U. Everything is working right, and Control C is also working. And in the terminal I can use Control R to do a reverse search. That is all very good. But I do use autocomplete. See here, B, and I pressed tab. That was autocomplete. So I do use autocomplete. So what happens when I press numeric keys and those? Show key. So these keys and control. That's going to be interesting. So Control 2 is a 0, but Control 3 forwards is 27. How do I quit this program? Hold on, how do I quit this? Control D, sure. So 27 from 3, so that is actually escape. So 2 until 9. That is a nasty special case I have to do here. So this is going to be 0, but these are going to be 27 forwards. How do I test that? What was that key command? Show key. So Control 3 should be producing that. Control 3. No. No, no, no. Didn't work. Do you use mouse? Yes, I do sometimes. Not very often, but I do. So this didn't work. Why? Because so let's try that again. Show key, Control 3 and Control 3, and those are identical. Control 5 and 6, probably Control 6. Yes, that's right. Control P, Control P. Excellent. So that's almost everything that I actually wanted to do here. The numeric keyboard arrow keys are not working right yet. I do have a day job. Raise the window a bit. Yes, you are absolutely right. Thank you for telling me. Numpad keys are on different key codes, that is absolutely right. And I wonder if I should... I almost started using this, my own editor, my own terminal normally here. But this scrolling doesn't work right yet. This is perplexing me, because... Down. What happens there? When I press down here, what exactly happens there, and why does it not scroll? Let me find that out. Let me use S-trace to find this. Down, 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 down. That should be enough. And let's study the log file then to find what exactly happened there. So right. read 0. But it actually read there. So that's what it actually read there. And why did it not render it properly? That is going to be so hairish to study. Echo term, why do you want that? Echo term is X term. And when I run this terminal, it should be the same thing. Didn't change the thing. Oh yeah, it's saying Linux there because in this TTY, fork PTY, yes, I did this. So didn't change the thing, but that scrolling is perplexing me. How do I find the right location in the log for that? Let me do that again. Well, thank you there, Yoda. Yoda, you talk like. Do I seriously? Down. So that log should now only have a that's what I thought at least. Read. No. Here we go. So that's Joe. No, that's my program writing the down key. And then that's Joe reading the key. But does my program use receive message somewhere? I don't know. Read from. Here we go. So this is what Joe printed here. Why is everyone asking me my day job? And why is nobody responding that? Because I'm pretty sure there are people in my chat who already know the answer to that question, and it is a frequently asked question, so I'm deliberately ignoring it. So I should try to see what happens if I print this. So it should be doing scrolling up. So why is it not doing scrolling up? So what are the components of this? This is homing the cursor, and this I don't know what that does. And this puts the cursor 24 rows below, and then it homes the cursor again. Then 2 columns to the right, and 1. No, there's a bracket key there. Bracket, then new line, I'm trying to follow this and understand. Okay, this is interesting. This should be doing scrolling or something. Let me see if there's something I have forgot to do there. So it's supposed to do this. Probably. No, this one. Where is this? CSIM. Why scroll up? CY bottom. Why scroll up? So that part is missing, I think. But I do have whole screen for scrolling down. Yes. Why scroll up? Yes, I do. Pending line feeds. Let me see if I do one of these, A and B. Not sure. But I am assuming the problem is here. If the C is 0, then it should be assumed that it is 1. I assume that is the problem. Let me check that link. All keys. Ah. I have to check that later. Thank you for that link. So all. Let's see if that changed anything. It actually did change things. So that was the problem there. So scrolling by 0 lines should be assumed that it actually means scroll by non-zero lines. So assume the same problem is also here. Why are there warnings when compiling? The reason is because there's some of these variables are signed integers and some of them are unassigned integers, and I didn't pay much attention to that detail when I made the first stream, and that was by purpose, because I didn't want to focus on detail too much. So scrolling works properly now, and if I do a split screen here, the scrolling also works in a split screen. So the terminal functions seem to be working all right. That would seem to be the case. Let me also verify with the xterm setting. That would seem to be the case. And all of these keyboard shortcuts also work, so that is excellent. Background music sidechained. Yes, if I understand what you actually mean, yes, that is probably the case. So keyboard input is almost done. Then next, style renderings. I have been streaming for 2 hours now, and the time is that much. How long do I wish to continue this stream still? This has been going for 2 hours, and I already did the things that I was planning to do. So I guess I will leave the style renderings for the next stream. This sounds like a great time to wrap this up. So I made a great deal of progress here. This I should also commit. So the keyboard handling did not end up being as complex as I was worried about, but it's a great idea to spend effort in trying to make your design a little bit more clever and little bit more compact and so on. When should we expect the next stream? Let me think about that a little while. No ligatures. Monday is not going to be possible. Tuesday is maybe going to be possible. Wednesday is maybe going to be possible. Maybe one of those days. I have to think about it. What is actually the date today? Yeah, that is a possibility. So it could be Tuesday or Wednesday. I do have a practical application for this, but it will be evident later. So before I close this up, I should probably commit these changes. So TTY terminal, that was a bug fix. Fix scrolling bug. And then fork PTY, that was a bug also. Fix geometry bug. And what else did I have here? I will lump the rest into the keyboard input. It is still not the most clean design because all of these keyboard input handling and all of that rendering, well most of the rendering stuff, or at least half of the rendering stuff is in this main program here. It is not the cleanest design, but these are things that I can fine-tune to my mind's liking when I have time for it. But when I'm doing a stream, I kind of want to make quick progress, so I'm not concentrating that much on stylish issues. Cursor particle effects. Glitter. Yeah, Discord. In case you didn't know, there is a Discord channel, Biscuit Discord. Let's do a YouTube search here. Biscuit's channel, Discord server, and much more. Look up that video, and that's me explaining Discord channel and so much more. You can also, if you didn't know, this community page. There's also a community page on my channel. You can also check this sometimes. Some people get these notifications, but some don't, so this is also a good idea to check on my channel, this community tab right here. So that's a great idea. Could you explain what a terminal emulator is? Yes, I could, absolutely I could. And you can check the previous 2 live streams, because I have explained it at least 8 times before. Horizontal mouse interaction. When it hovers over links. What? Horizontal. Ah, yeah. Yeah, it changes that shape like that. Ligatures. Why is everyone ranting about ligatures? I don't see any possible usefulness for them in a programming editor, a programming terminal. So anyway, my nose is totally stuffed and it's making my voice totally nasal and it's annoying for me to speak, but yeah. I'm going to close this off now, and thank you everyone who joined here, and thanks and welcome the next time, and thank you especially to all those people who joined in the super chat. There's this dollar button here which you can use. Super chat is only available on public videos. Yeah, that's probably because I can't support myself, so So that's going to be it for today. So thanks for watching and see you next time. Bye.